Mom says you get two birthdays. The first one is the day you were born. The second is the day you leave home and give birth to yourself. This is Hurricane Summer by Asha Broomfield. So, this was the art that we're receiving, but the book came out this week, and I was excited about it because it's a coming of age story, and it's a story that took place a summer in Jamaica. Now, I have this nostalgic feel for it, because summer in Jamaica is always fun. Sorry guys if you hear anything in the background. They're doing a lot of work, and I've been struggling all week to record. So anyway, this is a teenage girl and her sister who are having to go to Jamaica to spend summer with their father. Their father who had ultimately abandoned them and their mom in Canada. He has a tie to the island. And in the story you get the vibe that he wanted to be back in his island, but she's not sure why. But the story unfolds, you learn a lot about him through the eyes of a teenager, through the eyes of a young girl who craved the love and affection from her father. Now, it is a story that is packed with typical things, very traditional Jamaican stuff, but it's also has this negative things that happen to this young girl that was very difficult to read because unfortunately a lot of it is true, a lot of it is stuff that I have heard from other people's experience, and there's some of it that I have experienced myself. The subjects of culture, sexuality, religion, and colorism, which is something that is very much, these are topics that affect a lot of Jamaican people. Now, what I would say is, as a child, often you don't really realize how impactful some of those things are, because growing up as a kid, I never even thought about those things that were said, how negative they were, till I became an adult. So in this, there is this whole idea that she is above, well, way beyond her age in terms of some of the things that's happening because of for me, how I took it. Not only that, I think too, because she grew up in Canada, she has this more awakening things that she can learn that is not acceptable versus growing up in Jamaica. You're just used to those customs that you don't realize how wrong they are until you are out of that environment. Now, I would say this book made me upset in a lot of ways. It made me upset because the trauma. It made me upset because I wanted a story that was just going to be more of the joy of enjoying summer in my beautiful island. If you guys are not familiar, I'm Jamaican, so I wanted the nostalgic on a happier note, and I didn't get that. So I was upset with myself that I enjoyed this. I was upset with myself that it was true in a lot of ways. I was upset with myself because I related to a lot of things, especially the daddy issue. Yes, I can say I had that. It's a touchy subject, and when I read this, I realized how she was young to realize this. I did not give up on that notion until I was 24. And there's a particular line that I really treasure in this book, and it says, alright, where we at? My father is still searching for his happiness. I can't fill that void for him, just like he can't fill mine. It is neither of our responsibilities, and now I must release him of the task. He is not my hero, and in this moment I feel guilty for putting that pressure on his shoulders. What a heavy burden to carry for a person who's just as broken as I am. What a burden to bear for an empty man. My father is human, flawed, and imperfect. The inevitable truth about the chaos that rages inside of me is that he cannot clean it up. Only I can do that. Sorry for the noise. So my fantasy of my father must reach its final chapter. Sorry again, guys. The work outside is serious. So my fantasy of my father must reach its final chapter. My fairy tale of him must come to an end. Sometimes little girls must become their own heroes. And I really love that paragraph. It just read of a lot of times you hold on to the fantasy of your father, and I did that up until I was 24. That whole constant forgiveness, that whole idea of he's going to become the father you want, and when you realize that he can't fulfill that, it breaks your heart, but you know you have to move on, and you have to get rid of that fantasy. That's just not possible. And I really love this. It is a very difficult thing to experience in this book, because I understood it. There is these flaws that happen in a lot of Jamaican men that I know personally. Fathers who are, very flawed, and within my family as well as friends that I know. So there is that connection in this book that made me upset, because I didn't want to read it on paper. That's how I took it. With that said, there is a romance in this, typical teenage romance, but they deal with heavy things that I kind of was like, is this really a YA? And that part of the story was just like, wow. And it fall into betrayal. It also falls in that your life is better than mine, and I'm finding ways to destroy you mentally and physically, because you are in another country abroad, where I'm here in a poor environment struggling, and I want you to be miserable. That happens in this story, and it is oftentimes looked at, especially if you are not doing well like that. You are, lower income, living abroad, but in the eyes of someone who is worse than you are, they don't see that. There's a part where she talks about wearing Walmart clothes, and no one brags about wearing Walmart clothes. For her, it was just, it's Walmart clothes. And for someone who is struggling and have the same pair of shoes for how long, that Walmart clothes might as well have been Chanel Prada. That kind of situation. And so that was a difficult part as well to digest. But it also has the country feel, the mango, because the story took place in Manchester versus, Kingston, where it would have been much more inner city and rough, whereas country life, I prefer country life. When I go back to visit, you forget about Kingston, just drop me off in the country. That's my love for the country and rural area. I'm going to end this by saying this is a good book. I do recommend it. I wish it wasn't as dramatic and the trauma wasn't so much in this. I really wish and hope, and really holding on to hope, that I get the summer feel. I get the experience of spending summer in Jamaica in a book at some point. That is healthy, that is fun, because that's the stuff I remember, that's the stuff I hold on to, and not tainted by some serious trauma. There is a serious trauma in this that it just left a bitter taste in my mouth that I wish wasn't in the book, but I understand the whole idea of the storyline, that it just didn't need to happen. And that I just felt like that could, if that was taken out, I would have loved the book even more. But it isn't a bad book at all. This is really a good book, and that's how I'm gonna leave it at that. Whew, yeah. Then I've read a short story, and this is from, again, my love. I don't know why I'm attached to this woman now. Okay, that is Alexandria House. So you guys know I've been reading a lot. So this is book number 15, and this is a short story. And this is one of those short story I would say has more to do with second chance. And this has happened where two individuals who were with other people and were in very messy relationship, and how they connected, and then something happened, and then 2 years later they meet again. And in this, the male in this wanted, he wanted what he didn't get the first time, so he's doing everything to get that. And I really thought this was over the damn top. over them top. It was just, what in the world is just the couple in this is just, I feel like she likes the bad boy, and she does push the limit with the bad boy, but she put it in a way where the bad boy who ultimately will do anything for his woman and very loyal to his woman and will, you know, will kill somebody if they have to for their woman. She writes a lot of those kind of character, which sometimes is fun, but then sometimes I'm like, it's a bit scary, because in real life, oh, those are the ones that you just want to run for the hill. So that was very interesting, but I'm still hooked. I am literally, I don't have that many books left from her to read. I've literally gone through her catalog. So there will be more talked about throughout the next couple of months until I'm ready to finish all. She does have a new one, which is from Poe, and this one I'm waiting to read it because I don't like Poe, because he was in another book and it's a spin-off, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna care for him, so I'm bracing myself, because that is actually a full-length novel. I think if it was a short story I probably just read it already just to get over with, but it's a full-length. I'm like, I'm not ready for Poe World, but I definitely will read it and let you guys know. But yeah, I'm gonna end this here, and hopefully you guys are not hearing a lot of banging in the background. I'm gonna have to add some music, something, because this is my life for the next 2 weeks, they said, before the project work in front of my building, front of my house is done. It's a water retention that they're building, because I live on a hill, so you have to build things to protect your house from the water, and this is a wall that that they're finishing up, that it's necessary, but it's just annoying because it's a banging all day long. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and have a good day. Bye.